Okay, so now that you know what a live ICP is, how we score, and how you can actually use the scoring model to be successful in your outreach strategy, now let's talk about what the tier snapshots look like. So if you watch the first video on the actual scoring model with those three giant yellow bars, this will make a lot more sense for you. If not, I suggest taking a look at that video first before you watch this so you understand what is going on here. But if you look, these are real world examples. So these are tier snapshots of the exact types of companies that you're looking for in each of those tiers. So it's identifying, giving you an example using your own data of what the perfect tier 1 company looks like, the perfect tier 2 company looks like, and so on and so forth. And as you can see here, we referenced in the first video, we referenced this company actually had two distinct target markets. One was ride hail at airports. The other was a last mile depot. Okay, so in that way, we decided to do two tier 1 snapshots so that it could really accurately represent what those look like. So if you notice, if you look here, I know you probably won't remember because I barely do, but one of the signal categories was being a platform or operator with over 100 electric vehicles. So this is really important. If they have 100 electric vehicles for a ride hail at an airport, that's a great number. If they have 100 vehicles for a last mile depot, then they're in that danger category. They're in that, okay, these might be too big for us, or maybe it doesn't even exist. So you have to look at these nuances matter. Your score matters depending on what customer you're looking at. Because if you're looking at one version, so the one on the left, then it's really important for a tier 1, they have to have a minimum of 100 vehicles. But in the other tier 1, which is equally important opportunity for you, they might have to have between 25 and 100 vehicles. So it's really important to understand those distinctions and how even just changing the market segment or even the geography can make such a significant difference on how important this company or agency is to your go-to-market and the type of resources that you want to put into it. Now, from there, the nuances get even more specific. So as an example, a ride hail at an airport might score a 76 out of 100. So this is actually a really great score. Don't think of it like school where a 76% is where you're kind of like okay, but not really getting those straight A's. No, this is actually still a really good score. If it's anything over a 70, this is a tier 1 opportunity that you need to go all in on right now. But there are other factors. So for this company, it was a school bus yard. So in the public sector, okay, it still has a lot of the characteristics of a tier 1 account. It's still a property where you can put a charging station. It's still something where there are vehicles. There's fleets with electric charging that are required. But it's just a little bit of a different situation. So there's nuances with the right buyer, right situation, right time that make them a little bit more or a little bit less attractive than a tier 1 operation. As you can see, tier 3 tends to be in that category where it's a landowner. It could exist. It could be a valuable resource for or a valuable company for you to acquire, but it's just not quite there yet. There are some factors that say, hey, this has promise. This could turn into a great opportunity for me. And if they come to me, that's fantastic, but maybe not worth my time right now. And one of the key factors I want to point out is that usually the difference between a tier 2 and a tier 3 is that right time signal. If you have a really weak timing signal, like let's say, for example, there are no EV orders, there's not fleet electrification, they're not really even close to having a deal for charging stations. But if they do, they're even exploring an RFI, they're thinking of a pilot for adding this charging capabilities. There are other factors there that crank up the score and go from a 27, as you can see here, to a 49. However, there are some factors where you literally cannot do business with these companies or these organizations. In this case, corporate policy might forbid any type of fuel or charging on the property. That's just a no. So they could be the perfect location, have a ton of electric vehicles available, but this organization, this agency, doesn't have the ability within their rules to even work with you. So therefore, you got to put them on the DQ list and walk away. So again, what I want to point out here is how this part of the live ICP is structured. It's meant to take your scoring model that we've developed in the top part of the live ICP document and really apply it to something you can use to decide, I want to go after this company or this agency and not this one. Okay? So hope that helps, and it really makes a lot of sense for you. But happy hunting, and goodbye.